Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love. Ladies and gentlemen, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But you and I, folks, we just call the show Online Marketing Moves, and we are here to discuss you making moves online, you learning how to market yourself. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about something very important. Today, ladies and gentlemen, if I sound a little weird, I'll probably have a slight cold, you know. Apparently, my wife, this weekend, we spent a lot of time with babies. And apparently, my wife, she got a cold. And apparently, my wife has passed it slightly on to me. So, the throat's a little scratchy, but on and upward we must go, you know? I tell you what, babies have strong germs. I give them that. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, something today I wanted to discuss with you is about content creation. And I want to talk about writing. And I want to discuss with you why writing is probably the most powerful tool that you can use. The power of words is very important, and I know people are supposed to have a short attention spans, and I know people are more apt to go to podcasts and YouTube videos than actually read articles. But the power of audio is this, ladies and gentlemen. If you can get people to read your articles, if you can get people to read your emails, you are far ahead of people that do YouTube videos. You are far ahead of people that do podcasts, because to pull out a book, to read an email is something that you take your time doing it. You want to do it. You want to read what somebody has to say. So if you can get that going, ladies and gentlemen, that is more powerful than any other medium, and to me, that you can do. Writing is beautiful. Writing is something that we should all. It's the reason why It's the reason why there's so many people writing books now. You set yourself up as an expert. You set yourself up as a professional, as an expert, as a person of interest in this category. This is why people write books. This is why people write articles. It's not because they want to. It's because, well, some people want to, but some people feel like it's a necessity. And it's definitely a necessity. Let's say you're a chef, for instance. There's many chefs, and to position yourself as a top-notch chef, there's a few things you might want to do. Well, especially if you want to be on TV. Not if you want to be a top-notch chef in a restaurant, but if you want to be a TV chef, you have to write books. You have to get on TV. You have to be on multiple shows. Get a couple of awards behind you. Get a great media push behind you. And you can be on TV all day as a TV chef, you know? It's the same with a lot of different things. If somebody reads your emails on a daily basis, that means that it's more of a connection. It's more of a deeper connection than it is, watching a YouTube video. Because, let's be honest, how many times have you watched YouTube, fell asleep watching a YouTube video, and you woke up and there's a video that you don't even know? You're like, what is this? How many times has it happened to you? I can't be the only one. It's happened to me before. It's just like watching TV. It's just like if you're watching Netflix and you watch a show. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. Then after episode 6, they're like, "Are you still watching?" You might be asleep already, So that really is not like I've watched it. It's like No, I fell asleep during episode 1, But to read an article, but to read a 10-minute, 12-minute, 13-minute article, that's something. That's really getting a connection going with your audience. It's valuable, because at the end of the day, the thing you are looking for is you are looking for people to engage. You are looking for people. Sorry about that, folks. You are looking for people to be engaged in your material, but you want people to consume the material. You just don't want the people to, I'll get to it. No, you want people to read it. You want people to watch. You want people to participate in your stuff, because the reason why the reason why you want that is because what's better than paying for traffic? What's better than paying for ads? What's better than getting customers on your own? Having customers come to you, having people speak highly of you, and then other people saying, I've heard about this guy, I heard about this gal, I want to see what they're about. I'm going to go subscribe. I'm going to go sign up for the email list. I'm going to go subscribe to their Substack. I'm going to go follow them on Medium. That is something that is more powerful than finding people yourself, is the word of mouth. The, hey, this guy is great. You should follow him. You should give him a shot. Blah, 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 blah. That is something that, that is awesome. It's a lot better than, because, listen, paid traffic is cool and everything, but a lot of those people are flakes. A lot of those people are kind of, up and down, kind of sketchy. I don't want to give out my email. I don't want to give out my phone number, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times, it's more of a headache than what it's worth, But if you can get, referrals, word of mouth, referral customers, I mean, that's where it's at, folks. And I believe the written word can bring in more people, more genuine people, I should say, than YouTube and podcasts and Twitter, because all that stuff is free. All that stuff is, it's easy to go on YouTube and say, hey, I'll follow this guy on YouTube. But will the YouTube follow, will the YouTube likes, the comments, will that lead to them buying something? I believe you have a better chance for people to buy stuff from you if they read your articles, if they read your books, if they read your content, a lot more than if you do podcasts, because this podcast is free. Spotify and type in online marketing moves with Tony Rosano. It costs you nothing, So it doesn't cost you a cent. So you don't have to. It's not a lot of work into it. But when I get back to writing the articles you have to go to Medium. You have to type in the name. You have to, hit the thing. You have to read it. You have to pay attention. You have to focus. I mean, you could be working out right now. You could be jumping around. You could be doing God knows what. And this podcast could just be running, and it will not matter. You won't hear the message. But if you read something, you have to focus. You have to pay attention. You have to look at it, And something might be so good, you're like, let me go read this twice. You know what I mean? And so, to me, the words on paper are the most powerful thing that you can come up with, And so, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be. I heard this from. I heard a story of. I reread Rich Dad Poor Dad last week, a couple weeks ago, and he said something that was very funny, but very true. He was talking to a lady, and I believe he was in Thailand, maybe, or the Philippines, one of the two. Doesn't matter where he was at, but he was somewhere, and a lady was interviewing him, and the lady was like, "Oh, you're a best-selling author, blah 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 blah. I wish I could." And then he said, "You know what you should do? You should take a course on selling. He said you should take a course on salesmanship or marketing. One of the two, he said. And the lady got real offended, and she said, I don't want to sell. I hate salesmen. Blah 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 blah. And then she got to talking some more, and he said, I'm not the best writing author. I'm a best selling author. You know, there's a difference. And he said, I'm not the best writer, but I can sell a lot of books. And the lady got super offended, and she said, well, I'm not a salesman. Yada 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 yada. But it's like, hey man, you could be the best writer in the world, and I've come to learn this. You could be the best writer in the world. You could be the best anything in the world. But if nobody knows you, if you're not marketing yourself, if you don't know how to sell yourself, it's never gonna get anywhere, you know. And I've had to learn that. I've been doing this podcast for a while now, year and a half, almost 2 years. I forget how long. It's been a while. But one thing I've learned is, hey man, you have to blow your own horn sometimes, you know. Toot toot. You have to learn how to market yourself. You have to learn how to sell yourself. And so I've invested in a couple books, more books about, you know, selling, and more books about, you know, what to do, how to market yourself, this, that, the other, you know, because it's you learn, you get better at it, but there's always room to grow. There's always room for improvement, you know, from me to you to anybody, you know. And so if you want to get better at it, you know, listen to this show. And if you want to get better at it, buy some books, maybe take a class, or take up a part-time job selling, or, you know, whatever, you know, just figure out what works for you and make it work. But I highly suggest that you start writing, you know. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be a 20-minute article. It can be, you know, a page. It can be 500 words. It can be 250 words. It can be 1,000 words. Does not matter. Just get into the habit of practice of writing, you know, because one day, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to become an expert in something, and you are going to write a book. And I highly suggest you do that, you know. If you become an expert in, you know, shopping carts, if you become an expert in what's the one? Shopify. Write a book about Shopify, you know. If you become an expert in, you know, living off the grid, you know, write a book about that, you know. But just write about something, you know. When you become good at something, position yourself, write a book, and then you can have more authority, you know. Because people, when you say, hey, I'm an author, people go, oh, really? You wrote a book, huh? Because there's so many people that don't write books, that want to write books, but you'll be ahead of the curve, you know. And so the word is very powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end this show on that. Hey, listen. Any kind of platform you can market yourself is good. YouTube is good. Podcast is great. All that stuff is great. But the word, writing articles, writing emails, is very powerful for somebody to read your stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that is it for the podcast. We will be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody,